Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Wednesday. Can you believe it's March 1st already? This year is just freaking flying by. So yeah, Wednesday, March 1st, 2023. It is 5:50 a.m. here on the Pacific Coast, and we have a lot to talk about. I want to, believe it or not, give a little bit of a shout out today to Bloomberg. Yes, Bloomberg, one of the propaganda ministries. And this is why. Because they had a guest this morning on Bloomberg, I don't know how many of you caught this, who was saying, let's start off with this. There's a lot of talk out here that the Federal Reserve is going to continue raising rates until they hit a 6% terminal rate. Let me say this before I touch on the Bloomberg story. What do we know is happening right now? What has been going on for many, many, many months? Central banks are raising rates. And what's happening to inflation? It's going higher and higher and higher. As you and I knew it would since day one. I mean, if you want to laugh, honestly, go back to the video I did when they started raising rates, where we covered right here on this blog how by central banks raising rates, it would do nothing. I did this exact thing. Zero to stop inflation. It's not even meant to fix inflation. That's the charade, the falsehood that is being propagandized right now. But going back to Bloomberg. So they had a guest out this morning who they allowed him to speak, which was quite shocking to me, who came out, again on Bloomberg, saying that if the Federal Reserve continues to raise rates and they have this 6% terminal rate in their head, it will, are you ready for the word, break the economy. Well, that's exactly the word I've been using over the last couple of videos about breaking the global economy. The paper that I just wrote up for all of you and I posted in my free newsletter, the single pillar of this economy worldwide is breaking. I mean, duh. I mean, that's exactly what's going on here. So I'm going to give a little shout out here to Bloomberg for allowing them to have a guest who's telling you the freaking truth. Let me explain this to you again in maybe another way here. Being that you and I realize clearly, and it's just so in our face that it's astonishing, okay? Central banks raising rates isn't doing a damn thing. It's not meant to work. Inflation continues to rise around the world. Food inflation out of control. And you haven't seen anything yet. Anything at all. Inflation is going much, much higher because, again, the one thing, the single thing that central banks could actually do, pay attention if you're new here, the one thing central banks could actually do to stop inflation in its tracks today and reverse inflation is not getting a nanosecond of airplay, even on Bloomberg or anywhere else. Again, central banks have the power to contract the money supply. This issue of surging inflation that we have here, okay, is a money supply issue. What have central banks been doing since the last meltdown here? They've been pumping the world with debt. Currency. They've been buying all the debt. You know how this works. They're issuing debt through one door and then buying it back through another door. It's a revolving door. And this revolving door mechanism here is making central banks, has now propelled central banks to now the single most powerful collective organization on the planet. Nothing comes close. The more debt a central bank issues, is called on to issue or is allowed to issue, well, the stronger they become. You all know this if you've been following my work here. So again, going back to the one single thing which would actually do something about inflation, that is contracting the money supply. And how does a central bank contract the money supply? It's so simple and effective. They have the financial institutions, the big banks, increase their capital reserve requirements. In other words, the cash that they need to hold in reserve. This contracts the money supply, and that's the root cause of the problem of inflation that we're seeing. If we could contract the money supply, inflation goes away. Today, again, there's no talk of this at all. Let me ask you this while we're on that topic. Why is it, in your opinion, and I love to ask questions like this, why is it, in your opinion, that not one, maybe I'm wrong on this and I want to hear from you, Why is it, in my opinion, because I haven't seen this yet, that not one single politician has come out on national television or international television and said, hey, you know what, everyone? This issue of inflation, the central banks can really do something about it. They just got to contract the money supply. I have not seen a single politician, and you will never hear a central banker say this, that they actually could stop inflation in its tracks by contracting the money supply. To me, to Greg Mannarino sitting here in this dark room with poor lighting, I get it. Okay, it's early here. Like I said, it's 5:56 a.m. right now. The silence is deafening. So what we're witnessing here is a kind of very interesting set of dynamics. Okay, we have central banks who are continuing to raise rates, and we know what this is. What this is meant to do, okay, is slow the economy by killing the consumer. That's all it's designed to do, this raising of rates here. Okay, and it's working clearly. The world economy today, please don't take my word for what I'm about to tell you here. I want you to look this up for yourself. Just open up a search engine. The global economy is shrinking and contracting at its fastest pace ever in history. And this is a direct result. Well, it's multifactorial, but the main culprit here is what central banks are doing here by raising rates, and inflation continues to surge higher. See, here's the issue. You and I, since day one, again, realized that this issue of raising rates would not do a damn thing to stop inflation. But what we did know, and again, we covered this at length, and I've covered it multiple times, is this raising of rates would crush the economy by killing the consumer. It's an astonishing thing that we don't hear a peep of truth at all about this from a politician, someone who's, was supposed to be represented here. We're supposed to have some kind of representation here, at least in the United States, because this, well, it's not a dictatorship yet. Maybe we're going back to some kind of fascist, communist system here, and that's really what's going on. We have no representation anymore. Tell me again why we're paying taxes, because we have zero representation. You won't know that. Anyway, look, that's the story. Now, going back to this market here, since we witnessed the crossing of 250 on the MMRI, the Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, again, free to you, free to everyone on this planet, link in the description of this video, this market has been struggling big time. And you and I knew it would happen. Check my old videos. We kept saying 250 was the first line in the sand. 250 was the line in the sand. We know where the next line in the sand is. It's at 300. They have revealed their hand to us. Believe me, I did not pull this out of a hat. When we outlined right here on this blog that 250 was the first red line in the sand, it's because I'm paying attention to what's going on here. We crossed 250 in the past. We witnessed what happened. We crossed 300. We witnessed what happened. They started floating out freaks from the Federal Reserve, Nick the Pig, the Whisperer, to try to soothe the market. So we know where those lines in the sand are. With regard to the MMRI, we are firmly and remain firmly above 250. You can check it if you'd like. Again, there's a link in the description of this video. What does that mean? The market is continuing to struggle. As a matter of fact, this morning, right now, the MMRI is just over 255, like 255.2, last time I looked at it. Stock futures are lower across the board, meaning a lower open. Okay. This goes way beyond the markets. Okay, the markets are what they are. All right. I think a lot of us out here would like to see this market fall precipitously to attain some kind of fair value. Again, the market is so disconnected and distorted and twisted from reality because central banks are buying all the debt and continuing to fuel this global debt bubble even more every single day. That's why there is no price discovery mechanism here. Again, the market is made up of buyers and sellers. If this mechanism is interfered with by central banks, which is clearly going on here right now, by them buying all the debt, being the buyers and lenders of last resort, there's no real mechanism behind the market. There's no price discovery. Again, buyers and sellers setting the price of any asset. This is why I've explained to you, and we've covered here a million times, that the market is so fake right now. It's beyond even someone like me to get my head around, being that I study this market around the clock. Even in my sleep, I think about it. It's crazy, but it's true. Anyway, with that said, I want to cover a few other things with you here. What could we expect moving forward? Okay, pay attention. I just made a list of 4 things. Number 1, you can expect much higher inflation regardless of a 6% terminal rate with regard to the Federal Reserve. It's going much, much higher. Again, no talk of contracting of the money supply. So much higher inflation, much higher unemployment, a much wider war and or more wars here, surging global debt. And then the last one here is you can expect the money supply to continue to balloon. Although they're going to try to sell you the lie that the money supply is contracting. Oh, you can see it on the Federal Reserve's balance sheet that they allow you to see. What about what's off balance sheet? Okay, the hundreds of billions of dollars that we're funding wars with and warp speed vaccines with and everything else with people. All this off balance sheet they're not allowing you to see. And you see the other metric that they're using here. I want you to think about what I'm going to tell you. The other metric that they're trying to sell to you to prove that the money supply is contracting because people are pulling their money out of the banks. You're not allowed to know this. Money market accounts are seeing tremendous outflows. Savings accounts, tremendous outflows here. And going back to that here, here's something else you might want to pay attention to. U.S. corporations here are now desperately trying to sell debt to raise capital. What does that mean? I'm not, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you what that means because I want you to make up your own mind on this. What does it mean to you when you hear that U.S. corporations are now desperate to sell debt? I'll tell you, okay? They're trying to raise capital. They're trying to raise capital because the corporations here, again, they're feeling the pinch as well as people. The population is being literally decapitated because of the Federal Reserve's deliberate push to crush the economy here. Here's another thing you might want to pay attention to. So filings for bankruptcy here in the United States, think about what I'm going to tell you here. And I hope this is not one of you, although it probably is. Filings for bankruptcy here in the United States have now hit their highest level since the financial meltdown or the great financial crisis. Think about what I'm telling you. All the things we have outlined right here on this blog are happening now. And I'm here to tell you yet again, people, if you think this is getting any better, no. Again, what I outlined for you, much higher inflation regardless of what the terminal rate with regard to the Federal Reserve's federal funds rate is going to be. Much higher unemployment here and a much wider war. And everything else you can dream about. Expect a false flag. A false flag as well is coming. Just be ready for it. And many, many thousands of people are going to lose their lives. As I said, stock futures are lower right now. MMRI still over 250. We got gold and silver relatively flat. Crypto is relatively flat. Crude oil relatively flat. That's where we stand this morning, okay? But I want you to ponder everything I've spoken about in this video. Think about what I've said here. It should be as clear as day that what we're seeing is getting very, very real here, people. And we need each other. We need to band together. I've been telling you for every Friday I leave you off with love each other, care about each other, and be charitable. That's really what we need to count on that. Hey, people, listen. Here's the situation. Today is the 1st of the month. On the 1st of every month, I humbly ask you to support my work. I'm out here literally working my rear end off here between this blog, my newsletter, all the free stuff I offer you guys out here. So I hope you choose to support my work. So as I said, on the 1st of every month, I ask for $5. Just $5 to support my work. You can do this 3 ways, okay? Lower below this video, you see a little heart. You can click on that and you can say, hey, you know what? I want to send you $5, Greg. Or if you look in the description of this video, you can send me $5 via Stripe. Just click on the link. Or you can use PayPal. $5 via PayPal. I sincerely hope that you choose to support my work, people, because what do I tell you all the time? We got to have each other's backs. I got your back. And I hope you have mine as well. So please support my work. I would greatly appreciate that. I don't think $5 a month is really too much to ask for. I work really hard for all of you. I really, really do. And I hope you're getting something out of these videos. So like I said, please support my work. With that said, I will see all of you later for my live stream. I'm looking forward to it. Love all of you a lot from the heart. And I'll see you later.